Few people realize that some of the most powerful people in the world are not the loudest, the richest, or the most influential. Their power works in a completely different way. It doesn't come from status, fame, or authority. It comes from an unusual ability to see what others miss. While most people focus on words, appearances, and carefully crafted personalities, these individuals seem to notice what is happening beneath the surface. They pick up on emotions that are never spoken. They sense tension hidden behind smiles. They recognize truth hiding behind confidence. And because of this, they often leave a lasting impact on everyone they meet, whether they intend to or not. For years, many people who possess these traits have felt different without understanding why. They may have noticed that certain people become defensive around them for no clear reason. Others suddenly open up and share personal details within minutes of meeting them. Some relationships seem to transform simply because they entered the picture. Friends, family members, coworkers, and even strangers often react to them in ways that are difficult to explain. What makes this even more fascinating is that many of these experiences appear again and again in stories connected to a rare personality type known as the Heyoka Empath. Unlike the common image of an empath, a Heyoka is often described as a mirror rather than an absorber of emotions. Instead of simply feeling what others feel, they seem to reflect hidden truths back to the people around them. This can be deeply healing for some people and extremely uncomfortable for others. Throughout history, many cultures have spoken about individuals who challenged social norms, exposed illusions, and encouraged growth through unexpected methods. While the modern idea of the Heyoka has become surrounded by mystery, symbolism, and debate, the characteristics associated with it continue to capture the attention of millions of people across the world. What makes this topic so intriguing is that many Heyoka traits are often mistaken for flaws, being misunderstood, feeling out of place, questioning everything, sensing emotional shifts, and naturally challenging people can sometimes feel like burdens rather than gifts. Yet, according to countless personal accounts, these very qualities may be the reason certain individuals create powerful changes wherever they go. They don't always seek attention. They don't always try to lead. Yet their presence alone can cause people to rethink their choices, confront hidden emotions, and see themselves from a completely different perspective. In today's video, we're going to explore 7 powerful signs that are commonly linked to the Heyoka Empath. Some of these signs are widely known, while others are rarely discussed. You'll discover why certain people seem drawn to you while others keep their distance. You'll learn why honesty can sometimes create unexpected reactions. You'll uncover the reason many Heyokas feel disconnected from traditional social expectations. And perhaps most importantly, you'll find out why this personality type is often described as one of the most transformative forms of empathy. As we move through these signs, pay close attention to the details. Some of them may appear ordinary at first, but their deeper meaning becomes much clearer as the pieces begin to connect. By the end of this video, you'll have a much better understanding of what separates a Heyoka from a typical empath and why so many people believe their influence extends far beyond emotional sensitivity. The final sign is often considered the most revealing of all because it explains why Heyokas tend to leave a permanent mark on the lives of the people they encounter. It's also the sign that many individuals recognize only after years of wondering why they never seem to fit into the patterns everyone else accepted so easily. So stay with us until the very end because each sign builds on the one before it, and missing even one piece can make it harder to see the full picture. The deeper we go, the more surprising these traits become. If you're curious about human behavior, hidden patterns, empathy, self-discovery, and the unusual ways people influence one another, you're in the right place. Welcome to the channel. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos. Now let's begin with the first sign that may reveal whether you possess the traits of a Heyoka empath. The first sign often appears so naturally that many people never recognize it as unusual. They simply assume everyone notices the same details they do. Yet over time they begin to realize that most people are focused on what is being said, while they are focused on what is not being said. A Heyoka empath is often described as someone who sees through people's masks with remarkable speed. This doesn't mean reading minds or possessing supernatural abilities. It simply means noticing patterns, emotions, and contradictions that others overlook. While a person may present confidence to the world, a Heyoka may sense insecurity hiding underneath. While someone claims to be happy, they may detect sadness behind the smile. While another person speaks with certainty, they may notice hesitation buried within their words. This ability can make social interactions feel very different from the way most people experience them. Many people spend years perfecting the image they want others to see. They carefully choose their words, they control their expressions, they create a version of themselves that feels safe and acceptable. Most of the time, these masks work. They help people navigate relationships, workplaces, and social situations without revealing too much. But Heyokas often seem to look past those outer layers almost immediately. They pay attention to small changes in tone, brief moments of hesitation, shifts in body language, and emotional reactions that appear for only a second before disappearing again. These tiny details may not mean much individually, but together they create a picture that is difficult to ignore. This can lead to situations where a Heyoka senses that someone is not being completely honest long before any evidence appears. They may feel that a friendship is becoming strained before anyone mentions a problem. They may notice hidden tension between two people even when both insist everything is fine. In many cases, they cannot fully explain how they know. They simply recognize that the words and emotions do not match. While others accept the surface story, the Heyoka continues noticing the deeper reality beneath it. One reason this trait can feel confusing is that it often develops naturally. Many Heyokas do not spend time analyzing every interaction. They are not actively searching for deception. Their minds simply process emotional information in a different way. As a result, they often notice inconsistencies automatically. If someone claims to value honesty but repeatedly avoids difficult conversations, they notice. If someone presents themselves as kind but treats others poorly when no one is watching, they notice. If someone constantly seeks approval while pretending not to care what others think, they notice that too. Over time, this creates an unusual experience. People who are genuine often feel comfortable around Heyokas because they have little to hide. Their words and emotions align. Their actions match their beliefs. There is consistency between who they are and who they claim to be. But people who rely heavily on masks may react very differently. Even when the Heyoka says nothing at all, their presence can create discomfort. It is almost as if hidden truths become harder to ignore when they are nearby. This is where the second sign begins to emerge. Because Heyoka see beneath the surface, people often feel exposed around them. Not exposed because secrets have been revealed, but exposed because they sense that someone sees more than they intended to show. This reaction can happen in subtle ways. A person may become defensive without understanding why. They may suddenly change the subject. They may avoid eye contact. They may even become irritated, despite the fact that no criticism has occurred. One of the most interesting patterns associated with Heyokas is how often strangers open up to them. People who barely know them may begin sharing personal experiences, hidden fears, painful memories, or private struggles. At first, this can seem completely random. Yet many Heyokas report the same experience throughout their lives. Friends reveal secrets, coworkers discuss personal problems, strangers describe situations they have never discussed before. It is as though people instinctively feel that they will be understood. At the same time, not everyone responds with openness. Some people move in the opposite direction. They become uncomfortable. They keep their distance. They avoid deeper conversations. In some cases, they may even dislike the Heyoka without any clear reason. This can be confusing because the Heyoka may have done nothing wrong. They may have spoken politely, behaved respectfully, and shown genuine kindness, yet tension still appears. One explanation often discussed is that Heyokas unintentionally encourage self-reflection. Their presence acts like a mirror. When people interact with them, they may become more aware of their own contradictions, fears, insecurities, or unresolved emotions. For individuals who are ready for growth, this can be valuable. For those who are avoiding uncomfortable truths, it can feel unsettling. Many people spend years distracting themselves from difficult questions. They stay busy. They follow routines. They focus on external goals. Deep reflection is often pushed aside because it requires honesty. It requires looking inward. It requires acknowledging things that may be painful or inconvenient. Yet around a Heyoka, those hidden thoughts sometimes rise to the surface. A person may begin questioning decisions they previously ignored. They may start examining relationships more closely. They may recognize patterns they never noticed before. This process is not always comfortable. Growth rarely is. While some people appreciate the opportunity to learn more about themselves, others resist it completely. As a result, Heyokas often experience a mixture of attraction and rejection throughout their lives. Some individuals are drawn toward them almost immediately. Others seem determined to avoid them. The difference often has less to do with the Heyoka and more to do with how willing a person is to face themselves honestly. Unfortunately, this ability does not always make life easier. In fact, it frequently creates the next sign. Many Heyoka spend years feeling misunderstood. From an early age, they may sense that they view the world differently from the people around them. They notice details others ignore. They ask questions others avoid. They challenge assumptions that most people accept without thinking. Because of this, they are often seen as different. Family members may not understand them. Friends may misinterpret their intentions. Teachers, coworkers, or partners may assume they are being difficult when they are simply being honest. This misunderstanding can become a recurring pattern throughout life. A Heyoka may point out an inconsistency, only to be accused of creating conflict. They may ask an important question, only to be told they are overthinking. They may speak a truth that others do not want to hear, only to find themselves blamed for the discomfort that truth creates. Many Heyokas become familiar with labels such as strange, intense, difficult, stubborn, or overly sensitive. These labels often appear because people focus on the effect rather than the intention. They see the discomfort but not the deeper purpose behind it. They react to the challenge without recognizing the opportunity for growth that the challenge provides. This experience can create loneliness. Feeling misunderstood repeatedly may lead someone to believe they do not belong. They may struggle to find people who truly understand how they think. They may feel disconnected from social expectations that seem natural to everyone else. While others focus on fitting in, the Heyoka often feels compelled to question what everyone else accepts. Yet this difficult experience develops an important strength. Spending years on the outside teaches observation. It teaches patience. It teaches emotional awareness. When someone has experienced misunderstanding themselves, they often become more skilled at understanding others. They learn to notice what people are feeling beneath the surface. They learn to recognize hidden motivations. They learn to see beyond appearances. As this awareness grows, another sign begins to appear. Heyokas often challenge people without even trying. They do not necessarily set out to confront others. They do not wake up each morning searching for arguments. In many cases, they are simply curious. They ask questions that feel natural to them, yet those questions often reach places that others avoid. While most conversations remain on the surface, Heyokas tend to move deeper. They want to understand why people think the way they do. They want to understand the reasons behind beliefs, decisions, and behaviors. As a result, they frequently ask questions that encourage reflection. A simple conversation can suddenly become meaningful because they are interested in what lies beneath the obvious answer. This ability often reveals contradictions. A person may claim one thing while doing another. They may pursue goals that conflict with their values. They may complain about patterns they continue repeating. The Heyoka notices these gaps naturally. Sometimes all it takes is a simple observation for someone to realize that their actions and beliefs are moving in different directions. What makes this especially powerful is that the challenge rarely comes from hostility. It comes from awareness. The Heyoka is often not attacking anyone. They are simply noticing what already exists. Yet even gentle observations can create powerful reactions because truth has a way of demanding attention once it becomes visible. Many people spend years avoiding certain questions. They postpone them because the answers may require change. But when those questions finally appear, growth often follows. This is why interactions with Heyokas can become turning points in people's lives. A single conversation may lead someone to rethink a relationship, reconsider a goal, or examine a long-held belief. Changes that seemed impossible suddenly become possible because awareness has increased. And while many people challenge others through criticism, confrontation, or judgment, Heyokas often do it in a completely different and unexpected way. One of the most misunderstood traits associated with a Heyoka empath is their relationship with humor. Many people expect someone who is deeply emotional and highly aware of other people's feelings to be serious all the time. They assume that a person who notices emotional struggles, hidden fears, and personal pain would naturally approach life with constant intensity. Yet many descriptions of Heyokas suggest the exact opposite. Humor often becomes one of their most powerful tools. not because they avoid serious issues, but because they understand that sometimes laughter reaches places that logic cannot. Most people think of humor as entertainment. They see it as a way to pass time, lighten the mood, or make conversations more enjoyable. For a Heyoka, however, humor often serves a much deeper purpose. It can become a bridge between truth and acceptance. It can make difficult conversations feel less threatening. It can help people lower their defenses long enough to see something they were unwilling to see before. This is why many Heyokas naturally use humor during situations that others would consider uncomfortable. When tension fills a room, most people respond in predictable ways. Some become quiet, some become defensive, others attempt to avoid the situation entirely. A Heyoka often reacts differently. They may make an unexpected observation. They may point out an irony that nobody else noticed. They may use a joke to expose a truth hiding in plain sight. What makes this unusual is that the humor often carries a deeper message beneath the laughter. People frequently remember these moments long after they happen. At first, everyone laughs. The tension disappears. The atmosphere feels lighter. Then hours later, sometimes even days later, the meaning behind the comment becomes clear. What seemed like a joke begins to reveal a truth that was sitting in front of everyone all along. This ability to combine insight with humor is one reason many people describe Heyokas as unconventional teachers. Rather than directly telling people what to think, they often encourage others to arrive at their own conclusions. A simple joke can create a moment of self-awareness. A playful observation can reveal a contradiction. A humorous comment can expose a habit, belief, or behavior that has gone unnoticed for years. Because laughter reduces resistance, people are often more willing to consider ideas they might otherwise reject. This pattern appears repeatedly in social situations. A group may be struggling with tension. People may be avoiding an obvious issue. Everyone knows the problem exists, but nobody wants to address it directly. Then the Heyoka says something unexpected. Suddenly the room laughs. Yet beneath the laughter, the real issue has finally been acknowledged. The conversation begins moving forward, because someone found a way to reveal the truth without creating unnecessary conflict. Another reason humor becomes so important is that Heyokas often understand how heavy life can become. They spend so much time noticing emotions, observing people, and recognizing hidden struggles that they naturally develop ways to balance that emotional weight. Humor creates space. It allows difficult experiences to be viewed from a different angle. It reminds people that even serious situations can contain valuable lessons. Many individuals who possess Heyoka traits discover that some of their greatest insights arrive through moments of laughter, rather than moments of seriousness. While others separate wisdom and humor into different categories, the Heyoka often combines them. They recognize that a person who is smiling may also be learning. A person who is laughing may also be growing. A person who is entertained may simultaneously be confronting an important truth. What makes this especially powerful is that humor can bypass resistance. Direct criticism often creates defensiveness. People feel attacked. They protect themselves. They stop listening. Humor works differently. It lowers barriers. It creates openness. It invites reflection without demanding it. As a result, many Heyokas find themselves helping people gain awareness without appearing to challenge them at all. Friends may seek them out during difficult times because they have a unique ability to bring perspective into painful situations. Instead of becoming trapped inside fear, frustration, or sadness, they help people step back and see the bigger picture. This does not mean they ignore suffering. It means they understand that growth often becomes easier when people are able to view their problems from a different angle. Yet beneath the humor lies an ability that few people fully understand. Many descriptions of Heyoka empaths suggest that they possess an unusual sensitivity to emotional energy. While others focus primarily on spoken communication, Heyokas often seem to notice what is happening before a single word is exchanged. This trait is difficult to explain because it operates beneath the surface of normal conversation. It is not based on facts, evidence, or direct statements. Instead, it involves an awareness of emotional shifts that occur almost instantly. A person enters a room and everyone else continues their conversations normally. Nothing appears different on the surface. Yet the Heyoka immediately senses that something has changed. The atmosphere feels heavier. The energy feels tense. The emotional tone shifts in a way that is difficult to describe. Long before anyone speaks about a disagreement, they already know tension exists. This experience is surprisingly common among people who identify with Heyoka traits. They often describe feeling emotional changes before receiving any information about them. A friend may claim everything is fine, but the Heyoka senses sadness. A coworker may appear calm, but frustration is clearly present beneath the surface. A family gathering may seem cheerful, yet hidden tension quietly fills the room. What makes this ability fascinating is that it frequently operates faster than conscious thought. The awareness appears before logical analysis begins. The Heyoka notices a feeling first and then gradually discovers the reasons behind it. Later, when events unfold, they often realize that their initial impressions were surprisingly accurate. Many people misunderstand this trait because they assume intuition means guessing, yet Heyokas often describe it differently. Their intuition feels more like observation than prediction. They are constantly collecting information through subtle details that others overlook. Facial expressions, voice patterns, body language, emotional reactions, social dynamics, and countless other signals combine to create an overall impression. Because so much of this process happens automatically, Heyokas may struggle to explain how they know certain things. They simply recognize emotional patterns. They notice changes, they feel shifts in the atmosphere. The information arrives before they have fully analyzed it. This sensitivity can be both valuable and challenging. On one hand, it helps them navigate relationships. They often recognize problems before those problems become obvious. They notice when someone needs support. They sense emotional struggles that remain hidden from others. They can identify tension before conflicts explode into arguments. On the other hand, constantly sensing emotional energy can become exhausting. Walking into a crowded room may feel overwhelming. Being surrounded by unresolved emotions can drain their energy. They may need periods of solitude simply to process everything they absorb throughout the day. Many Heyokas also notice that people rarely surprise them in the long run. While others become shocked by sudden conflicts, unexpected betrayals, or dramatic changes in behavior, the Heyoka often sensed warning signs long before the situation became visible. The clues were already present. The emotional energy was already shifting. The atmosphere was already changing. This awareness often extends beyond individual people. They may sense the mood of an entire group. They notice when excitement spreads through a room. They recognize when anxiety begins affecting multiple people at once. They feel collective emotions that others fail to acknowledge consciously. Over time, this creates a unique relationship with intuition. Rather than relying solely on facts and logic, Heyokas learn to trust their observations. They understand that emotions often communicate important information long before words appear. While facts reveal what people are saying, emotions frequently reveal what they are truly experiencing. And all these traits often lead to the most powerful sign of all. Perhaps the most remarkable characteristic associated with Heyoka empaths is the effect they seem to have on the lives of other people. Many descriptions portray them as catalysts for transformation. Not because they force change to happen, but because change often begins naturally when they enter someone's life. This pattern appears in countless personal stories. People meet a Heyoka and suddenly begin questioning beliefs they have held for years. Relationships that were built on dishonesty start falling apart. Unhealthy habits become impossible to ignore. Long-avoided emotions rise to the surface. Hidden truths demand attention. What makes this fascinating is that the Heyoka is often unaware of the impact they are having. They may simply be having conversations, sharing observations, or offering support. Yet their presence seems to encourage reflection in powerful ways. Some relationships improve dramatically after encountering a Heyoka. Communication becomes more honest. Problems are finally addressed. People gain clarity about what they truly want. Emotional barriers begin to disappear. As awareness increases, healthier connections become possible. At the same time, not every transformation feels comfortable. Relationships built on illusion often struggle when truth enters the picture. If two people are avoiding important issues, those issues eventually demand attention. If someone has been pretending to be happy while secretly feeling trapped, that reality may become harder to ignore. This is why Heyokas are often associated with disruption as well as growth. Their influence does not always preserve existing situations. Sometimes it reveals that certain situations were never meant to continue unchanged. Hidden problems become visible, unresolved conflicts emerge. Long-suppressed emotions finally surface. For some people, this process becomes life-changing. A conversation leads to self-reflection. Self-reflection leads to awareness. Awareness leads to action. Before long, an entirely new direction begins to emerge. Careers change, relationships evolve, priorities shift, personal growth accelerates. Many people who encounter a Heyoka report feeling as though they see themselves more clearly afterward. Not because someone provided all the answers, but because the right questions finally appeared. The Heyoka does not hand people a new identity. They do not tell others what to become. Instead, they create conditions where self-discovery becomes possible. This is one reason so many descriptions refer to Heyokas as mirrors rather than healers. A healer may focus on fixing what is broken. A mirror focuses on reflection. It allows people to see what already exists. The answers are not imposed from the outside. They emerge from within. The mirror does not create the truth. It reveals it. The mirror does not decide who someone is. It simply makes it harder to look away. And for many people, that single experience becomes the beginning of a transformation they never expected. Being a Heyoka isn't about having supernatural powers. It's not about being better than other people or possessing some secret ability that no one else can understand. At its core, it's about awareness. It's about noticing what hides beneath the surface when everyone else is focused on appearances. It's about recognizing emotions behind words, truths behind masks, and patterns that often go unseen. That awareness can sometimes feel like a burden. There may be moments when you feel misunderstood. Moments when people pull away because they aren't ready to face what they see in themselves. Moments when you wonder why you seem to experience the world differently from those around you. But many who identify with these traits eventually discover that what once felt like a weakness can become one of their greatest strengths. Because the ability to see clearly is rare, the ability to encourage growth is rare, and the ability to help people discover truths about themselves without forcing or controlling them is even rarer. Sometimes the most powerful impact a person can have isn't changing others directly. It's helping them see what was already there all along. So as you reflect on these 7 signs, ask yourself this: how many of them felt familiar? How many seem to describe experiences you've had throughout your life? And could those experiences be telling you something important about who you are? The question isn't whether everyone understands you. The question is whether you're willing to understand yourself. Because the moment you embrace what makes you different may be the moment everything starts making sense. And here's another thought worth considering. What if the traits you've spent years trying to hide are actually the traits that make you most powerful? What if the very things that made you feel like an outsider are the things that allow you to see the world in a way few others can? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear which sign resonated with you the most and whether you've experienced any of these traits in your own life. If you enjoyed this video and want more content about empathy, psychology, self-discovery, and the hidden patterns of human behavior, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the greatest gift isn't changing who you are. It's finally recognizing who you've been all along. We'll see you in the next video.